Okay, so there, tell them, can you, anyway, welcome. I'm Alice Nitka on the Appropriations Committee. Here's Dick McCormick, he's also on it. Alice Emmons, a local rep.
On a different committee, not on the probes.
So the idea will be, we'll start with number one. We're going to go for just a minute because there are so many people. And we'd like you to hand in your testimony if you're comfortable doing that. And if we don't get to you and you have written testimony, you should hand it in. And if that doesn't work for you, on the website, and I'll have it up, I'll write it on the board, an email address where you could email your testimony in or thoughts. Okay, and the whole, both appropriations committees will get them. So what we're going to do is have the first person come up and sit right here to testify. There's the mic. And if you can't get out or you don't want to come up here, you can speak from your seat. You'll have to speak loudly. And the cameraman will capture your voice and your picture. So either way is fine.
If you speak from your seat, stand up.
Yeah, if you speak from your seat, please stand up. So the other thing is, where are the restrooms?
The restrooms, the men's room is on the same floor as this. It's just on the other side of the stairway, and you take a left. The ladies' room is down the stairs, and you take a left.
One flight.
One flight.
And hi.
Right. So the first name,
There are more chairs up here, and there are more chairs somehow interspersed there. I see a couple of empties.
yeah, there's 2 chairs over there.
There's 2 over here, not this one. This is the on-deck person, who is who?
Jan Decker is Kate Lamphere.
Okay. Come on over, Kate.
Oh, you over there?
So this is if you're the next person up to testify, you're going to park yourselves right here. And there you'll be ready to go. Ready. Now, park it.
You gotta cut a minute out of it, right?
And we'll have a timer. Who does the 30 seconds? I'll do this.
You're going to do the
I can do
names.
the names in the 30 second. And you'll
Okay.
do the timer.
Okay, so here we go. Thank you very much for coming.
A minute apiece. Here we go.
I feel like I'm at a start line, and you're gonna like fire the gun.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, my name is Wendy Germain, and I am the new Nutrition and Wellness Director for Senior Solutions. And I am here to talk to you about Meals on Wheels. And a little story to start with. One day, my grandma Dressel's Meals on Wheels driver knocked on her door and she didn't answer. He knew that she was always there. He went around to the front door and knocked. He could hear her hollering for help. He tried to get in, but he couldn't. There was a man from CVPS working on the lines outside the house. The Meals on Wheels driver asked the lineman for help. Together, they got into my grandmother's house. She'd fallen and broken her hip. The men called my mom at work. Good thing for a small town, they knew where she worked. And ultimately, it saved her life. So it's near and dear to my heart. So we're asking for an additional $700,000 for Meals on Wheels for the state, to make sure that we don't have to put any of our folks on a wait list.
I didn't even know it was 30 seconds.
Where's the end? Like the Three Stooges.
And we make loss.
It's not working? Oh.
There we go.
What did you do?
And just so people know, it costs about $10 to get a meal out to someone, and the sites are only reimbursed for $3.50. Thank you very much.
It's like, I think a minute's not going to be enough.
No.
A minute and a half, but we
You
gotta.
want 30 more seconds?
She did it.
She did it.
I went over. I think it's very hard.
It is hard.
Okay, well,
I'll take
we'll
90.
try.
I'll take 90.
Do you want me to leave extra copies with you?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the person on deck is Dana Mikulovich. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, my name is Kate Lamphere, and I'm the Director of Adult Services at HCRS. I'm also a resident of Cavendish, Vermont, and a mother of 2 young children who relies on the Springfield Area Parent-Child Center. I also belong to a family that has been tragically impacted by the opioid crisis, including a recent death by overdose. I am asking you to seek every opportunity to support dignity, to support people, to give people the opportunity to live with dignity.
A few ways that I would like you to consider doing so is to increase the Medicaid reimbursement for designated agencies by at least 3% so that we can effectively support Vermonters with mental health and substance use issues in the communities in which they live with the dignity that they deserve. Consider the expansion of step-down facilities, residential treatment facilities, and supportive housing opportunities that provide individuals a place to call home and out of expensive and traumatizing hospital stays. Please support the Parent-Child Center, Bill S-263, and fully fund the Parent-Child Centers to continue their essential work with families and young children.
90 seconds, if you want a minute and a half, I can do the
did it.
last 30 seconds on the clock.
I got it.
Do you want to hand yours in?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
The person on deck is Linda Husband. Dana Mikulovic.
I'm going to give my spot to Chris there and speak 21st. I will speak number 21 instead.
Well,
Okay, when we get there, tell us.
yeah, you get there, tell us.
That's right. Okay.
So first, apologies, I didn't prepare written
all
testimony,
right.
but thank you for your past support of the Visiting Nurse Association members in Vermont. VNH is one of those members. We serve Windsor, Wyndham, and part of Orange counties. And we have 350 people per day on the long-term care Medicaid waiver. So these are folks who would normally qualify to be in a nursing home and are being cared for at home. Choices for care. So they're receiving food, bathing, meal preparation, all the things that are necessary to live independently. And I can tell you, because I've visited many people on this particular program over the years, people would rather age in place, they would rather age in their home, and this is a critical program. It is being funded at level funding in the governor's budget,
Keep going.
and our association will, leadership will give you, they'll talk more about the numbers and what we're asking for. I wanted to talk with you about what the people need, which is this program. And if my colleagues from the VNH could just stand up, because I'd like you to see how many are here.
Great.
Um,
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, Joanne, I have Joanne Ernhouse, and then Marita Johnson.
This is Chris there, number 21. And
We're
we're
not-
swapping.
Oh, you're swapping with
Swapping
Linda?
with Linda,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so what is your name?
My name's Chris there.
Chris there,
Yeah.
okay. So, Joanne Ernhouse is on Decker.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, so once again, my name is Chris there, and I've worked at Vermont Food Bank for 11 years now. And I am here to support the food bank for the new state funding asked by the food bank for $500,000 to help scale up our Vermonters Feeding Vermonters program. Real quick, what this program is we went to the local farmers and said to them, we want to buy product off you to serve to people in need. So that's what we've done. We've started this program 2 years ago. We use about $200,000 right now for this program, and it's to get out number one product to the people in need. So it also helps financially our local farmers. So I won't go big into it because there's a lot here, but one thing that I like personally is it keeps the money in Vermont. It just circulates through Vermont. And our goal, our projected minimum goal is $800,000 added to the Vermont economy. So, and for every dollar spent, 60 cents additionally goes back into the economy. So, that's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Marita Johnson on deck. Joanne Ernhouse.
Hi, how are you?
6:30. So, that's why we're doing. They're all on.
Just put them on, I'll take them to the state.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of the population of Vermonters who are over the age of 60. As the Community Relations Director at Senior Solutions, which is the Southeastern Vermont Council on Aging, part of the V4As, I've had the pleasure of visiting communities throughout Windsor and Wyndham counties. These communities have reflected the rural conditions and concerns of many older Vermonters. This is a segment of our population who rarely complains. They are proud and private. Even when they are living below the poverty level, they will not ask for assistance. We work to encourage them to apply for benefits that are provided through the Older Americans Act. In their world, these aging Vermonters see themselves as the people who give to others. Even when they need to make tough choices between buying food or fuel, they think that others need the help more than they do. Skip to the end. These older Vermonters have long provided us with a
Keep
wonderful core of volunteers. How can we help them and show them our respect? Very simple. The V4As are supporting an additional $700,000 to support the cost of providing the nutritional programs like Meals on Wheels. And we also are asking for increases for at-home healthcare workers because ultimately it will save the state money. Did I go over very
No,
much?
you're fine. We're doing a minute and a half, so and I'm watching
I'm
that
done.
last 30 seconds.
So much.
And you can read it.
Yeah, but keep them short. I'm watching. Deb Hoffer.
My name is Marita Johnson, and I'm president of the board of directors for our local community television station, SAPA TV, Springfield Area Public Access Television. This station serves our 3 local communities of Springfield, Chester, and Weathersfield, and we have other people in the audience from other public access stations. And you've all taken advantage of our wonderful public access, and probably most of you in the room have taken advantage of it to get your word out with programs and with the public service. And it's actually being live streamed to the whole state right now. So it's very important, and I'm asking for your support for the bill H744 for the appropriation of funds to support community media centers. And we have a well-equipped studio that is used for interviews. We cover the select board meetings, school board meetings all over the state with public access stations. Our Springfield High School journalism class is able to utilize the studio, and we've had several students go on to have careers in journalism. We also do a lot of programming, educational programming with library programs and historical societies. Our OLLI programs, Osher Lifelong Learning Program, which is through the University of Vermont. We film those and share those. We've shared hundreds of high-quality lecture programs, and we're very happy to have many volunteers. We've got about 20 really good volunteers that have been volunteer their time to learn the camera use and to learn editing. And I'm going to leave with you our annual report for this year that has all of those volunteers listed. But SAPA TV provides a sharing of our community strong points and helps carry on a vibrant community spirit.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Are the other people that are with you signed up to testify, or are they just here?
They're signed up for later on. They came in after me, and they're from.
I was just going to have them stand up.
Oh, just in
Well,
case we
no,
don't
no,
get
they're
there.
testifying, skip it.
Yes, they're testifying
Okay.
in the back. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
So the person on deck is Elizabeth Boyce. Boyce. Deb Hoffer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Say your name.
Oh, sorry, Deb Hoffer.
Just so that they can capture it.
Deb Hoffer. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I am on the board of directors of the Family Place in Norwich, and I'm also a pediatrician at Dartmouth Hitchcock. And as you know, a pediatrician's job is to keep children healthy. But far too often, this is complicated by adverse childhood events, or ACEs, such as poverty, homelessness, substance abuse, and trauma, just to name a few. When you talk about these in the family setting, you're talking about toxic stressors, and children cannot thrive in an environment of toxic stress. Furthermore, pediatricians cannot provide all of the medical care and all of the social support that these children need. We absolutely rely on the parent-child centers of Vermont. For example, we are blessed to have Anya, who is an employee of the Family Place, co-located with us twice a week. We can bring her a family and know that she will provide for the core services that the Family Place offers for these children. The Parent-Child Centers of Vermont are literally life-saving for so many families. I want to thank you for the support last year in the amount of $3.3 million and ask that we move toward fully funding the Parent-Child Centers, which would be about $10 million. Our specific ask for fiscal year 2021 is an additional $4 million. So thank you very much for your time and for everything you do for Vermont families.
Thank you very much. And did you leave something?
I did.
Yeah, okay, great.
Person on deck is Chris Parker.
My name's Elizabeth Boyce. I'm the food service director for the Springfield School District. I'm here to talk about what the Farm to School program means to me. I believe that the Farm to School program is important to our district. The program has helped me find local produce and has supported many of my ideas on how to bring these local foods into our cafeteria. Without the help of the Farm to School, I'm unsure I've been able to start some of the programs I have started in all 4 schools. The Try a Bite program is to introduce kids to new and healthy food choices. On Thursday, kids are offered different food samples. The samples coordinate with the harvest of the month. This month it's beef and cabbage. Last month it was this month it's beef and, last month it was beets. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. It was amazing to see how many kids didn't even know what beets were. What was even better was see how many kids actually liked them. This program also connects what is going on in the cafeteria to the classroom. Teachers talking to kids about the Try a Bite a month. Did they like it? Did they not? Having discussions about what our food really comes from. Buying local is important to me, and the Farm to School program has been a big supporter of helping me make that possible in my school district. I believe the more we can buy and support local farmers in the area, it will be better for our future.
On deck is Connor Floyd.
Chris Parker. I am the Food Service Director for Wyndham Central Supervisory Union. Thank you guys for being here. In the short time that we have, I would ask that we oppose the decrease that has been presented for the Farm to School program. That program in 2017-18, our school, Newbrook, was awarded the Farm to School grant. Those funds allowed us to rebuild our aging garden beds as well as add to them. The first year that we had the new beds, we were able to produce over 400 pounds of produce that went directly into our freezer. We actually bought the freezer with the grant money as well. The second year, we were able to produce over almost 600 pounds. The Farm to School program has allowed us to build relationships with the local farms, many of which have paid their taxes in the towns that our schools are in. And we think that it's extremely important to support them and keep them local. It also allows our students to take field trips to the farms. The farmers come to the schools. They come for farm and field day. So that's been great for the kids. My children go to school in Vernon. They do not have a Farm to School program. Because of that, their participation is lower. There is no exposure to fruits and vegetables that they would not normally see. So then the meals that are coming out of the cafeteria are not as healthy looking because of that, because there's no push for that. So again, thank you for being here. I did not type this up. I'd be happy to send you guys something should you need.
Okay.
Thank you
Great,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Connor, Kay Curtis.
Hi, my name is Connor Floyd. I am the Farm to School Program Manager at Food Connects. I'm the third person talking about Farm to School. And so, as Chris mentioned, we are asking for a total funding level of $500,000 for Farm to School programs throughout the state. At a baseline minimum, we're asking that you keep the historic level of $231,000 the same and don't decrease that. As you've heard from the past 2 speakers, Farm to School can mean a lot of different things. It's oftentimes the only health and wellness education students are getting. It's teaching them about growing, healthy eating. It's helping the local economy through increased local purchasing. Here at Food Connects, we're able to provide a lot of those coaching services to schools, but really the funds coming from the state are the fuel that keeps a lot of these programs alive. It's often not the primary objective of the schools or priority of the school board. So this funding helps keep this programming and the enrichment programs associated with it going. So again, we're asking for $500,000. or at a minimum $231,000.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then George Carrick, I can never pronounce your name, Carrick Kavakis. I did it. So
Hi, my name's Kay Curtis. I live in one of the 3 parks run by Tri-Park Housing Cooperative in Brattleboro. Our cooperative provides an affordable housing for over 900 people. This is an alternative housing that's affordable for people who hold the minimum wage jobs and give a lifetime of service to our community. And we are in danger of losing our cooperative. Irene washed away 20 of our mobile homes, and we need that number in order to meet the budget requirements for our park. And we worked with the town for 2 years to conduct a master plan so that we could figure out exactly what we could do in order to fix all this. And at the end, we were told by the experts it's not sustainable unless we get some help. So that's why I'm here, to ask for some help so that we can keep 900 people in affordable housing. Our total need will be $4 million, so we encourage you to approve the $22.4 million VCHB budget in order to fund the organizations that will lend the assistance to Tri-Park and other mobile home parks throughout the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Mike Gibson, and then also there was Carol Gibson. Did you both want to testify or just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Let her get started.
Oh, okay. I'd like to, my name is George Karabakakis, and I'd like to thank each of you and all our legislators for the support that you've provided to our community mental health system. Act 82, passed in 2017, states that Vermont's mental health system shall be adequately funded and financially sustainable to the same degree as other health services. It goes on to say that rates should include a cost adjustment factor that reflects changes in the reasonable costs of goods and services of our community mental health services. And if the outcomes that we hope to achieve are to keep people off the streets, housed and warm, out of jails, out of the criminal justice system, to keep kids in our communities and out of state's custody, to keep people out of the ER unnecessarily and out of costly institutional care, then we need to adequately fund our system. And we can only accomplish this if we have the financial support to pay our staff adequately. And so we are asking for an increase in Medicaid reimbursement rates of 3% and to ensure that the new DS caseloads are funded. We need a system that is not living on the edge, but that is stable and secure, so when the time comes, our citizens know that we are there to support them in times of need.
You did. It was fine. Minute and a half.
Thank
Yep.
So what I'll do, I'll email.
Do you have one you want to leave?
Yeah, actually, I've got a clean copy here. So, yeah, there we go.
So the person on deck is Christine Blaylock.
Hi, my name is Carol Gibson. I'm here with my husband Mike, and we're parents of a daughter Lillian who has intellectual disabilities and a speech handicap. And we are also shared living providers for 2 adult men with developmental disabilities. And we are so thankful for Vermont's commitment to a totally community-based system of care for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Those who live with us take full advantage of this opportunity. They all work. They volunteer in the community, they exercise at Edgar May, go to the art gym, attend social events, and belong to a ministry for adults with disabilities so that they're pursuing their dreams and their heart's desires, which is what it's all about. The only way this has been able to happen is because there's been a collaborative effort between HCRS, the developmental case manager, with ourselves, funds being made available for direct services and health and employment services. And also the respite care for us, which has been needed. We're concerned that with the proposed changes to the service care system, those living with us will lose the personal involvement of their service coordinator, who's there to assist when needs arise and is able to advocate for them in such a large and sometimes confusing system. And without community support, employment services, respite services, the role of the shared living provider or us as parents would be overwhelming and less likely to succeed, and the state would lose its vision for providing a fully inclusive community-based system of care. So we're here to advocate for not only being able to retain the services that we have, but to increase the services as needed to meet the needs of new individuals being identified. Isn't that society's role to provide for those who can't provide for themselves?
Thank you.
Yep. Mhm.
Is your name on it?
Yep.
Martin Coyne? Cole? Okay.
Answered anything. Thank you.
Hi, I am Christine Blaylock. I'm an advocate with Let's Grow Kids and a mother of 3 with 2 currently in childcare. When I was working for a nonprofit and my husband is self-employed, we had 2 children in childcare full-time. It was $93 a day. After applying for Vermont's Childcare Financial Assistance Program, we qualified for $32 a week. Grateful for something from the program, it wasn't enough to justify staying employed. And so 100% of my paycheck and a little from my husband's, to have 2 children in childcare, we couldn't afford me to work. And with a 3rd on the way, I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. We don't qualify for the assistance program now because I'm not working, but we're on the Medicare and Medicaid system. Going back to work with 3 children in childcare over the summer would cost me $800 a week. And so $32 with supplemental with other expenses in my life, it just doesn't add up to work until all my children are old enough to stay home by themselves. By aligning the reimbursement rates with the most updated information and have it automatically updated in the future will assist families like mine to reconsider pulling parents from employment. So please consider supporting that program in hopes for more families to continue to work in Vermont. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Costs, Traybridge?
Core.
Core?
Sir.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, my name is Martin Cohn. I'm a resident of Newfane, Vermont, and I am a seasoned public relations practitioner, which means old, who serves on the board of the Brattleboro Community Television, BCTV. Over the past 4 years, I've produced 4 award-winning shows at BCTV. These include Family Matters for the Winston Prouty Center for Child and Family Development, Healthcare Matters for Grace Cottage Family Health and Hospital, Safe Store Matters for Entergy Vermont Yankee, and Rotary Cares for the Rotary Clubs of Brattleboro. They wouldn't let me use Matters anymore for the name of the show. While many equate public education government access television, like the one that's filming here, with the broadcast of local government meetings, PEG stations fill a unique niche in the media landscape, providing communities with the opportunity to create programs of local interest. PEG has been a venue for serious political and philosophical discussion, a place to find the recorded minutes of local town meetings or school board discussions, as well as a springboard for citizen journalism. In Vermont, we're fortunate to have 25 stations producing over 18,000 hours of programming each year. I'm here today to support the allocation of $100,000 requested in the PEG Access Study Bill H744. This will allow for a contract with one or more independent consultants to evaluate options for financing PEG operations and services to across Vermont. And this will hopefully facilitate a partnership with the state. The bill is recommended by the PEG Study Committee that was convened this past summer. Funding threats to access television have been widely reported. Healthy and viable PEG access services are in the best interest of Vermont. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The person on deck is Kathy Clement, and I'd also like to welcome the other representative from Springfield, Christy Morris, just came in. He's not on Appropriations Committee either. Welcome.
But he is on the Springfield Select Board, as a matter of fact, the chair. So He's in charge in this room and will tell us when we have to get out.
It'd be all his fault.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Cor Trowbridge, and I'm the Executive Director of BCTV, or Brattleboro Community Television. I'm here to speak in support of House Bill 744. BCTV was founded in 1976 and is one of 25 public education and government, or PEG access management organizations serving Vermont. BCTV serves 8 towns in southern Windham County, and we produce 1,200 hours of local video content each year. Fees from cable subscribers provide 80% of BCTV's funding. H744 is critical to the future of PEG access because cable fees have declined statewide and will continue to do so as the trend of cord cutting by consumers grow. In addition, last year the FCC weakened the requirements for this funding mechanism. In recognition of the threat posed by the funding decline, the legislature supported a PEG access study committee that met over the summer of 2019. H744, the PEG access study bill, asked for a modest sum of $100,000 in the FY21 budget for an in-depth legal assessment of promising examples of funding options being utilized by other states to support PEG. On behalf of the many Vermonters who value and utilize our programming and services, we hope you will support and fund H744 and S318. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crystal Ayer, I always have trouble with your last name.
Do you want to testify from right there? Do you want to stay right there? Okay. Hi.
Hi. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, just state your name.
My name is Kathy Clement. I live in Thetford, and I'm on the board of the Family Place Child Center. Thank you for hearing my testimony. First, thank you for last year's $3.3 million support. Second, please increase the funding for Parent-Child Center's essential work. As stated, base funding for the 8 core services should be about $10 million, and we would like to see at least a $7 million investment. It's tempting to remind you that PCCs have been underfunded for decades. My concern in doing so, though, is that you'll think they've been doing such amazing work. Surely we can stay at that funding level. It doesn't seem to be impacting things because they're doing such great work. But as a board member with fiduciary responsibility for facilities, programs, and staff, I can tell you that it does impact the services we provide every day. We don't have funds to replace shingles on our buildings or our aging heating and air conditioning systems. Therefore, we're wasting money with increased utility costs. If we could make better decisions with our facilities and improve things, we wouldn't have to waste that money. We also should be hiring additional mental health clinicians, but we can't because we don't have the funding. We should be expanding our home visiting teams and our presence in pediatric offices so that we can provide services at Parenting Start. We've had to reduce contributions to staff health benefits, which comes at a decrease for some of our staff members by about $2,000. We can't contribute to retirement savings. So all of these things impact our staff and our ability to have the best people working for us. So in summary, adequate support for parent-child centers is not a funding request, but a proven investment. If we are provided with the funds we need to meet the needs of young families, Vermont's children, and the Vermont state budget will be the better for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
On deck is Carol. Carol, I have a hard time with your last name. Stamatakis? Stamatakis.
I probably didn't spell it very well.
That's fine.
So this is slightly different. This is my own personal story. On January 6th, I reached for my back door on my way to work, and I didn't quite make it, and I fractured my hip. We've heard stories about Springfield Hospital and how everything is happening down there. I want to tell you about my experience. They were incredible. I went to the emergency room. They were respectful. I do alternative healing. They let me participate. They honored me. They gave me excellent service. I had an incredible doctor. I had surgery there, and then I was taken to Grace Cottage. Farm to table at Grace Cottage. They order on Monday, and fresh fish comes in on Wednesday. Their major meal is in the beginning, and a lot of you know me. I'm into food. I'm a chef. The major focus is on healthy living, on well-prepared meals. The major meal was in the middle of the day, so it was later at night. The staff there were incredible. The LNAs work their hearts out. They make very little money. They're amazing. One of my problems, I'm not driving. I have to get to PT. All the current drivers are volunteers. They have come to my house. They have helped me get into the vehicles. They have provided me with rides where I wouldn't be able to go. Only four rides, and I'm getting 2 a week, so I'm a little in trouble for the rest of this month. But Senior Solutions, the friendly visitors are stepping up, and people are taking me for rides. One of the hardest things for me is getting food. So I just wanted to let you know what was working. Huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm sure those places will love to hear your testimony.
That's great.
Very nice.
Ann Bilodeau is on deck.
Hi,
Great.
handouts here. Hi.
Great, great, great.
Thanks. Good evening. I'm Carol Stamaticus. I'm the Executive Director at Senior Solutions. Our agency is the Area Agency on Aging, serving Windsor and Windham counties primarily since 1973. So first I'd like to say that we're very grateful for the past support and for the fact that Vermont has been a national leader in aging services in so many ways. But I'm not here so much to advocate for the needs of older adults as for the needs of all of us as we age. Aging is a part of the human experience, and all of us want to be able to know that we'll be able to live in dignity throughout our lifespan, and continue to have choices in where and how we live, and make a meaningful difference in our communities. And I think Crystal talked about some of the volunteers who made such a difference for her, and many of our volunteers, whether people serving on town boards or people assisting people like Crystal, are very often older adults. So it's important for us to be able to keep those opportunities open. Some of the trends that we've experienced, though, have not been reassuring. In areas such as nutrition, reimbursement and funding has not kept up with growing costs and needs. And nutrition is we're increasingly learning about the role of nutrition in health and well-being. Also, it's important for our community-based providers to continue to be reimbursed at a level where they can continue to attract providers and serve people. So I just would encourage you to look at these charts. Sometimes pictures can tell a little more than words, and they talk about some of the demographic trends and what we can expect to see in the next 15 years. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Nancy Bloomfield. And is there another sheet up there? Could someone bring? Camera was too close. Can someone start bringing that down? Give it to Christy, and then we can just.
Hello, my name is Ann Bilodeau, and I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer at HCRS. As an HR professional, I see firsthand the impact of funding constraints. We are here today to ask for a 3% increase in Medicaid funding for mental health facilities. At HCRS, to give you a sense of what we're working with every day, we consistently have hard-to-fill clinical positions. We have a very high turnover rate for the last 3 years. It's been over 20%. Our fringe and health insurance has increased over $1.1 million in terms of expense impact in the last 3 years. So we are only able to give minimal pay increases to our staff. And keeping in mind that our staff are picking up increased portions of health insurance as well. So it is simply just not sustainable to retain good staff and mental health clinicians within what is an incredibly important agency within our community. So we are asking for you to please support the 3% increase in Medicaid funding. And just to give you one quick comparison between how the state pays and how our designated agencies pay. We have one instance where the state pays RN clinicians over 65% higher pay than we are able to. So that is just simply unacceptable. We truly do need this 3% for so many reasons. And I thank you so much for your support over the years, and hope you can support us.
Thank you. Nancy. Kate Wilson is on deck.
My name is Nancy Bloomfield. I'm the executive director at the Family Place Parent-Child Center, and I appreciate your hearing me today. I know you all, as I do, care very deeply about the well-being of children and families in our community. Children need safe, stable, nurturing environments so they can grow to be contributing members of communities throughout our state. Parent-Child Center programs help families create this environment for their children despite whatever problems or challenges they're facing. I want to thank you all for your support of Parent-Child Centers last year. The additional funding that you allocated as we were losing our REACH-UP contract last year enabled the Family Place to retain one of our most long-serving and experienced home visitors, so that was incredibly important support. The one-time funding that you allocated for infrastructure enabled us to increase security at our center, take some steps to prevent water damage in our buildings, and this spring we will finally be repainting 2 buildings that have been peeling for years. So I want to thank you for recognizing the importance of that. I am here tonight to ask for your support of S-263, the Parent-Child Center bill, which would strengthen the Parent-Child Center statute. We support the bill moving forward with or without the funding request included. We understand those are separate decisions. And I also, as others have requested, request your support towards our 3-year cap of $10 million. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you.
So there's about 17 more people, and we have 15 minutes. Jane Winterling is on deck.
I'll be quick. All right. So my name is Katie Wilson, and I live in Brattleboro, and I work for the Copeland Center for Wellness and Recovery. I'm asking you today to restore funding to the Vermont Recovery Education Project at a level of $60,000, which is what it's been funded for previously. The Vermont Recovery Education Project has been a long-term peer mental health program that has had a few different places that it's lived, but it's been at the Copeland Center for the last few years. This project provides us an evidence-based practice in the community for people who are struggling with mental health and substance use abuse, substance use disorders, as well as other life changes that occur for us, and has been very impactful across the community. This is an evidence-based practice that was developed here in Vermont and is now a gold standard across many, many states in the U.S. as well as internationally, and it would be horrible for us if that opportunity was denied based on that this is something that was developed here and is no longer able to be funded here. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And Janice.
Do you want to hand that in? I'll email it.
Janice Stockman.
So, yes, so I'm Jane Winterling, and I also work for the Copeland Center. I'm actually one of the people who helped develop RAP way back in 1997. That's actually become an evidence-based practice and gone all over the world. The thing about RAP, we actually had it restored last year in the legislature, and we were reassured, because it's such a tiny grant, that it would be put back into the budget this year, and it's been removed. The thing about RAP is it has such a profound long-term effect on people's health and well-being. I just had a call on the way here for somebody who was diagnosed with cancer. She has mental health issues, but she also was diagnosed with cancer. She said, you know, the thing about RAP is I learned how to build a support system. I learned how to advocate for myself. I learned how to hold on to hope, and I learned how to take personal responsibility for all these things. It's been 5 years. I'm healthier now than I ever was, and if I didn't have RAP, I'd be committing suicide because I wouldn't know how to do these things. So it's a self-management technique that not only works in the moment, it works long-term for people, and it's just a really quiet little piece of what we do here and provide here in Vermont, but it's had a worldwide effect, so I hope we don't lose it again. Thank you.
Kelly, is it Wallen or Wallace? Wallace.
Hi, I'm Janice Stockman, and I live in Brattleboro. I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator for the Wyndham Southeast Supervisory Union, and I oversee early childhood special education and our pre-K education, both public and private. I'm here to talk about investing in Vermont's young children through funding the early education workforce and reinstating the special accommodations grants, which support children with intensive needs in preschool. I testified last week to the House Ed Committee on revisions to the pre-K legislation, and I said there that the teacher is the most important element in effective early education. Young children need highly qualified and credentialed teachers because they're learning every minute of the day and because brain development is the most rapid in the early years. My hope is that every child who can take advantage of pre-K in Vermont is taught by a licensed teacher. But that hope is not possible unless early educators are supported financially to attain teacher licensure and, when they achieve it, earn a wage that's comparable to their public school counterparts. Our pre-K system will self-destruct if we don't address the lack of parity of wages for early childhood educators. They need incentives in the form of tuition scholarships like TEACH, a loan repayment program, and wage supports so that private programs can retain qualified teachers. The proposal on the table is to have every pre-K child taught by a licensed teacher by 2023, so the time to act is now. The second investment I'm asking you to make is to maintain the special accommodations grants. These are small grants that help the children with the most intensive needs stay in preschool. In our area alone, kids have been kicked out because programs don't have the money to. So I thank you for your time and your consideration.
Deborah Hamill.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kelly Wallace, and I'm the Regional Coordinator for the Children's Integrated Services in the Hartford region. I'm here tonight to talk to you about Children's Integrated Services. CIS Prevention and Early Intervention Services have immediate and long-term benefits. They support children's social, emotional, and cognitive development, family unification and stability, parents' contribution to Vermont's workforce, and they enhance complementary services such as DCF Family and Economic Services. Since 2009, CIS has been level funded. The money available does not cover the annual cost of living increases for our dedicated and professional staff. Last summer, the Child Development Division paid consultants to study CIS reimbursement rates. This study revealed that the rate being offered for fiscal year 20 does not even come close to covering the cost of providing services. For fiscal year 21, the state is offering $502 per child served per month, when it actually costs $634 to provide the services. I respectfully ask that the legislature fund CIS at a level that would cover the real cost. This would mean a $2.4 million increase in CIS funding. Thank you so much for hearing my testimony and for your continued work with the state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to hand yours in?
Thank you.
Steve Geller.
Hi there. You tell me when.
Go ahead.
Okay. To the members of the House and Senate Committee on Appropriations, I'm here to speak about H744 in support of it. My name is Deborah Hamill. I live in Bellows Falls, Vermont, and I'm a newer board member for FACT TV. Formerly, I was in Keene, New Hampshire for about 30 years, where I worked very hard with Cheshire TV. I want to ask that you support Vermont Access Network and community media in Vermont in the fiscal year 2021 state budget, particularly House Bill H744. I'm a firm believer in community TV and the fact that it is accessible to all in the public, whether it is to be able to watch unique original programming or the ability to put your own show on the air. Being that community access television stations are such small and local organizations, both solely and as a group, resources and monies are sparse to conduct the lawyer-level expertise needed to determine what authority the state has to assess broadband for public purposes. I join in asking for $100,000 for the right-of-way expert analysis and recommendations to conduct a study. As a former elected and appointed official in both government and education, I was the former vice chair of the New Hampshire State Board of Ed. The fact that there are 25 public educational and government access television organizations serve in Vermont is fantastic. Imagine all of the citizens who get to see local political meetings, school board meetings, and public hearings because of their local community public access stations.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Denise, is it Mason or?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve Geller. I'm the Executive Director of Southeastern Vermont Community Action, or SEVCA. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today and for all your past support from the legislature. SEVCA is one of 5 community action agencies in the state that cover the entire state from one end to the other, serving tens of thousands of households every year, including some in every city and town. Most people know us for our emergency and crisis intervention services, such as crisis fuel, emergency housing assistance, home repair, etc. But not enough Vermonters know about our important work on the other critical part of our mission, to enable people to stabilize their lives and move toward greater self-reliance by helping them obtain skills, creating opportunities, and building their capacity to improve their lives and achieve financial security. One reason for that is that the funding for this part of our work has been inconsistent and inadequate to address the needs of the many residents who could benefit from them. As if that weren't bad enough, now the governor's budget for the coming year has proposed to eliminate the funding for 2 of those programs, micro-business development and Vermont Match Savings, and thus deprive all Vermont residents from receiving those benefits and achieving those goals. That's why we're here today to ask for your support to restore their funding to sustain access to those services for many more Vermonters who need them. These well-researched and demonstrated programs enable improved access to employment and a livable income, enhance financial stability, and help people build and manage assets. The effort to balance the budget by eliminating the very programs that can help people escape the cycle of poverty and reduce their continuing dependence on publicly supported crisis services is terribly short-sighted and a poor investment of taxpayers' dollars.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're running.
Yeah, I have packets.
Who's next?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Irene Pearson?
Thanks, Steve.
I'm not going to make it here.
Okay. My name is Denise Mason. I'm the director of our economic development programs at SEVCA. Steve already told you, we're cut from the budget. We're already in a community action agency. Vermont Match Savings Program helps educate low-income Vermonters on the importance of saving on a regular basis. After attending 7 financial fitness classes, we match their savings. They're eligible to use funds for home repair, home purchase, post-secondary education expenses, starting business, car purchase, or car repair. The microbusiness program helps individuals who either have a business, want to start a business. We've had a lot of our successful clients have gone through both programs. Let's see, these 2 programs have a symbiotic relationship with each other, and they contribute to our holistic approach in working with our clients. Since they are embedded in a community action agency, we're able to meet many of their needs, not just for the business and financial. Both these programs significantly help in moving low-income Vermonters out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. They're not Band-Aids. They're not handouts. They offer handout. Please reinstate the funding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret Lewis?
So, Irene Pearson, I'm here today to ask the Appropriations Committee to consider a longevity pay increase for the caregivers who are providing direct care in the residential facilities for those with developmental disabilities whose capabilities and needs require this type of facility. I've been responsible for my brother, who's developmentally disabled, for over 40 years. And I feel thankful for the compassion Vermont shown for this vulnerable population. He lives in a caring group home, and I interact with him all the time. The entry-level caregivers were previously given a pay increase, but it didn't include a pay increase for the caregivers who have been in their jobs for many years. They bring a lot of experience to these positions, which are not glamorous. They're vital every day, 24 hours a day, weekends and holidays. They help to train the new caregivers, offering their expertise while creating a safe and happy home environment. I'm impressed with the Vermont lawmakers for not forgetting this vulnerable population. Thank you. I'll do it.
We will make it. If everyone stays to a short testimony, we will make it. We can stay here a little longer past 6:30.
Hi, I'm Maggie Lewis. I'm the executive.
Hang on.
Oh,
Mary
she
Ann.
already started my time.
Started
now.
yet. Okay. Well, we'll give you a look. Mary Ann, don't do it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Maggie Lewis. I'm the executive director of the Gathering Place in Brattleboro, which is an adult day provider. There are 14 adult days in the state of Vermont, and I am here on behalf of VADS, the Vermont Association of Adult Day Services. We are requesting a Medicaid reimbursement rate increase for fiscal year 2021 budget. We're currently reimbursed at $16.72 an hour, and the average cost of running an adult day program is in excess of $20 an hour. The majority of adult day programs participants receive Medicaid benefits. To meet the need of the participants we serve and attract more qualified staff, VADS is requesting Medicaid reimbursement at a rate of $25 an hour. In order to operate within our budgets, we are required to pay workers relatively low wages. As a result, it is increasingly more, no way! It is increasingly more difficult to recruit workers due to the low wages that we must offer. We are, like I said, a home-based home care. No, we're not. We are a community-based service. There are 14 of us in the state of Vermont, and we provide a viable community-based alternative in Vermont to institutionalization of seniors or adults with disabilities. Adult day centers help frail adults to live at home by fostering their strengths and abilities while allowing family caregivers to have peace of mind, knowing their loved one is being cared for while they go to work, run errands, or take a break. We collaborate with multiple, and my time is up, and it's all written down here for you to look at your leisure.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Philip Caston?
That was like fast.
It does. It does.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Lauder, and I'm a board member at Lincoln Street. Lincoln Street serves folks with cognitive disabilities and developmental delays. I'm here in support of the 3% increase being proposed. I specifically want to speak to staffing. It's a tight labor market here in Vermont with our low unemployment rate, and so to appeal to people to come and work, we need our money, we need our funds to be able to do this. I sit in monthly board meetings hearing about the need for staff pretty consistently. So I would encourage you to support that increase. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashlyn Bristol?
Good evening. I'm Phil Caston. I'm a member of the executive board with HCRS, and I'm also a resident of the town of Hartford. And you've heard our human resources director and executive director speak tonight in favor of the 3% increase in the Medicaid billing to assist in the budget. And I'm supporting that and urging the legislature to support that as well. We appreciate the support that we've received over the years. And I want to tell you a little bit about that because in my daytime role, I'm the police chief in the town of Hartford. HCRS was a pioneer in implementing the police social worker program. And shortly after I took over 5 years ago, I was able to enter a partnership with HCRS. And we've had a social worker on our staff that has helped us not only reduce the number of crisis contacts that our law enforcement officers have had with people in crisis in the community, whether they're suffering from a mental health issue, they're in generational poverty or other economic crisis, or suffering from a substance use issue. They've been able to assist us with training our police social worker. But on top of that, implementing community policing. A lot of folks think that that's a token program, but she has helped us bring all of the many people that you hear in this room together and organize the services that we provide to our residents in a way that's cost effective. So I urge your support of the increase in funding this year. Thank you.
Joe Little?
My name is Ashlyn Bristol, and my husband Abraham and I run Rebot Farm in Brattleboro, Vermont. We were the recipients of a 2019 Working Lands Grant for an infrastructure project that significantly expanded our capacity for retail sales and agritourism events on our farm. Since our project was implemented, our retail sales number of event participants have outstripped our 2020 projections and the project's goals, significantly and positively contributing to our farm's viability. As young farmers, the Working Lands Grant Initiative has been instrumental in the continual success of our farm. Encouraging land-based businesses to grow and prosper is a good way to attract and keep young Vermonters. Businesses that are tied to the land cannot be moved out of state, and this type of business supports a lifestyle many young people want. Please invest strongly in the Working Lands Enterprise Fund with a $3 million appropriation to support our Working Lands enterprises and keep our land open and productive for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. David Rosell.
My name is Joe Little, and I'm the president of the Park Place Financial Advisors and the senior vice president at the Brattleboro Savings and Loan in Brattleboro. I'm here tonight to ensure that investments in high-quality child care for working families are a priority of the governor's budget. Too many state families can't afford or can't find high-quality child care. In fact, new research has found that 3 out of 5 of Vermont infants likely to need child care don't have access to regulated programs. This isn't a problem just for those families and the children. It's a serious problem for the workforce and a challenge in Vermont. At our bank, we've seen firsthand how high-quality child care affects as a fundamental support for our workforce. It allows parents to accept work and to show up ready for work. When child care breaks down, the workforce breaks down. I think it's just a deeper problem than just where do I get child care. It isn't available right now, the quality isn't there. We did have an outstanding employee was forced to resign, had gone home, found out their child care provider had just decided to stop doing it, and they had no alternative. So that ended that. Vermont's aging workforce coupled with the low unemployment rate makes it crucial that we invest in these strategies for Vermonters who want to work and need to do so. So we have to support the young people in Vermont, and by doing that, by helping to create affordable access to child care.
Julie Merrill Snide. We're all right. We'll be fine. Got 3
I'm
more.
going to be very fast.
Yeah, we're moving.
My name is David Russell. I am a solar developer. I live locally in Perkinsville. I have been in this business for the last 7 years. I just came here to sensitize you as legislators to 2 developments that I think you should be really focused on and support. One is that there is a push to create a new renewable energy standard and increase the amount of solar power in the state from the level that's been set at 10% to up to 20%. And in doing so, to caution you to be very careful about the information that's being received from the governor's office through the Department of Public Service, because essentially it is negative and probably inappropriate or inaccurate. But there's lots of information out there to establish the fact that the solar installations in this state have not cost the ratepayers money, despite what the governor has said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dallas Welch.
I'm Julie Merrill Snide, and I'm here to support the funding in the amount of $500,000 for the Vermont Food Bank to upscale their Vermonters, Feeding Vermonters initiative. I'm a community health worker here in Springfield, and I work with families that have barriers to getting healthy and staying healthy. And the top barrier in this area is food insecurity. And The community health team volunteers once a month at the Springfield Hospital, the food bank delivery, and we, in 1 hour from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., there is 200 families that come through to pick up food. And that's just one, they go to the high rises and other towns and whatever, but in Springfield it's over 200 families, and it's from families with little kids to elderly patients, parents, and I think that supporting the Vermonters Feeding Vermonters helps out in many ways, because it's a little more security for the farmers, and it improves health for Vermonters. It makes Vermont stronger community, because $1 spent on the local food from the farmers is 60 cents to the local economy. So it keeps everybody getting something out of it, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So last but not least, Laura Evans.
No, excuse me, I was supposed to be 20
Oh.
minutes switching with Chris there, so I'll.
Okay, okay, sorry, Linda.
Hi. Hi, my name is Dallas Welch, and for as long as I can remember, I've been a mother. At the age of 15, I had my first son. Back in 1999, when I became pregnant, the stigma surrounding teen pregnancy was overwhelming. I heard things like, your life is over, you will never amount to anything, and you have a long road ahead of you. Without organizations like the SAPCC, I would not have been able to accomplish the goals I knew I was able to. The playgroup my son attended was just the beginning. Most recently, I have had the opportunity to be employed by SAPCC as their financial controller. It wasn't until I held this position that I realized how hard everyone works and how little funding is available to the organizations to provide these services to the community. The work that is done there is invaluable. As a member of this community, an employee of SAPCC, and someone who has benefited from the services provided, I am asking that the PCCs be fully funded for the requested $4 million for this budget, at $10 million over the next 3 years, and for your support of the PCC Bill S263 to ensure the capacity of the PCC's continuation of services. This proposed funding request would allow for more outcomes like mine. It would allow more families to obtain goals that may otherwise be unattainable. Thank you for your previous and continued support of the Parent-Child Centers. And I do have a copy. Great, thank you.
So Linda, husband, on deck. You're next. You're next, Laura. And then we'll finish up with Linda. Okay, I'm watching the clock.
I'm Laura Evans from Brattleboro, and I'm a advocate with Let's Grow Kids. As a longtime early childhood teacher / caregiver, what I'm most aware of is the need young children have for adult caregivers who are committed to giving them emotional and social support. Hit or miss care by assorted busy neighbors and relatives on different days of the week does not, for instance, tend to lead to growth in these areas. If a child can tell their teachers, care providers like them and are there for them no matter what, providing boundaries and good options for solving conflicts, they can learn to have the self-esteem and control over the expression of their emotions and their needs. This can make the difference in what kind of student, parent, and community member a child becomes, whether or not they are open to learning, able to listen to other viewpoints, and able one day to be an overall asset to their community, as opposed to needing lots of services and Justice Department involvement. And I had a story about one little child, but I'll send that when I send it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda.
Linda.
Linda. We got messed up from the switch.
That's okay. My name is Linda Husband. I'm the SASH coordinator in Springfield. SASH stands for Support and Services at Home, and I help the elderly and disabled in the Springfield Housing Authority properties and in the community. And I'm here to speak on behalf of Vermonters Feeding Vermonters. We have a monthly food drop from the food bank at each of the buildings, the Maples, the Whitcomb, and the Huber. And these people just, you know, are so grateful for the produce, and they bring other things, but the produce that I hear over and over, I can't afford to eat healthier because I can't afford fruit and vegetables. And so this is a way, it's an amazing drop. What they bring is amazing, and these people are facing really, they become unhealthy when they have to eat things that aren't healthy, obviously. It has direct benefits to the family receiving the food and also for the state of Vermont, because we want to keep the dollars in Vermont. So the food bank will pay the farmers in Vermont instead of paying somewhere else. And so we're asking for $500,000 to support this program, and our economy benefits when we keep our food dollars in state rather than purchasing food elsewhere. And they are just so immensely grateful, so I hope you'll support this.
Thank you.
I'll have to write those.
did it.
I'll send you some. Thank you.
We did it.
So I appreciate everybody coming.
Thank you.
Bringing all this was going on, of course, all around the state at multiple locations with people coming in just like yourselves. And also, at some point, we're also having the public hearing at the State House. And I didn't give anybody the email address. It's on the website. Is there anybody that doesn't have access to getting it off the website? It was in the ad, I think, in the papers too, the website, if you want to email something in, or email it to me. That would be fine, or any of us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
We did it.
Appreciate it.
We did it.
Variety of good work.